Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
You are right.
Okay. See, we have one more student called Mr. Adam Musa Tanko. I've called it right? Hi, Musa.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So probably you people have already had sessions on creative writing. Let us talk a little. Let us get to know each other a little. All right. So be comfortable. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Madam,
hear
excuse
you.
me, madam.
Yeah.
I forgot to introduce you. Dear learners, Madam is Professor Anamika Shukla, the program coordinator for your DCE program. She is a professor of IGNU, New Delhi campus. And it is our privilege that Madam has accepted to handle one subject for you and also project for you. It is so great of you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. May I kindly request you to continue the session, please?
Okay, thank you. Part of my job. All right, students. So a warm welcome and I greet you with a happy day. To begin with, let us get to know a little about each other, if you don't mind, so that we can, have a little level of comfort. So can you please introduce yourself? Can we start with Muhammad Garba? Mr. Muhammad Garba, can we know a little about you? Yeah.
Yes, I am Muhammad Garba from Kano State, Nigeria.
All right.
Okay.
So what do you do? Are you a student?
Yes, I am a student, also a teacher, a classroom teacher.
Could you be a little louder because you're not, maybe.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can't get your voice. Can it be a little louder?
Okay. I say my name is Muhammad Garba from Kano State, Nigeria.
Is it the right? Okay.
Okay. I am a student.
You're a student.
Yeah.
So what do you plan to, like, you've opted to do a diploma in creative writing? So my first question is, why creative writing? And what are your expectations from this course?
Okay, after graduation, I would like to be a writer, writing for media like radio or newsprint, and my expectation of the school is that I will learn more about this art or the skill of writing. I believe the institution is capable of training me to be such a writer.
Sure. You're most welcome, because when we talk about writing, we also want to understand that what are we writing, why are we writing, and who are we writing for?
Okay.
You understand? So that is why the very first question, why do you want to write? So why do you want to opt for this diploma in creative writing? Because what are your expectations? What are you looking forward to, develop the skill in? All right. We also have Adam Musa. Mr. Musa, can I see you? Can you please switch on your camera? I suppose I'm audible, Adam. I don't know. There's some kind of communication error, probably. All right. So when it comes to creative writing, the very two questions that come to our mind are, Why are we writing? Who are we writing for?
Okay.
Right? So when I say creative writing, which means it is something beyond the normal art of writing. Now, can you think of probably at least one reason why do you want to write? Why do you want to be a writer? And also, for whom do you want to write? I mean, there are times probably, see, I'll give you an example. Maybe I want to write, so I want to write for small children, right? And probably my, the target audience are school going children. So I want to write for them. And why? Because I want to relate to them. I want to be in touch with them. I want to be in communion with them. So the question is, why? Do you want to write? And for whom do you want to write? So, if we talk about the general perspective, can I have your perspective? Why do you want to write? What are your intentions? What do you intend when you say you want to write? Yeah, Mr. Garba?
Yes, ma.
Yeah. What do you think? Why do you want to write? Let us make it more interactive, because then only you will be interested in the class.
Okay. So
So why do you
I want to write to enlighten my people, especially at the rural areas, about the happening in the in the community, so that they will be enlightened to know what is going on in the government cycle and anything that has to do with them, so that they will be socially informed of the happening in the government and how to have a better life. This is why I want to write.
All right. So I can understand, which means that you want to write because you want to convey what is happening, or probably if I put it in a more particular or a peculiar manner, you want to update the people about the happenings in the surroundings.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
So you want to update the people that belong to your community about what is happening at the global level or at the level of the nation in particular, right?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
So now let us think about, like, if that is fine. Now you have a purpose, you intend to write. Now, if I say that, how do you plan to do that? What will be the mode that will help you in conveying your ideas, in conveying your, community with the information that you want to convey? Can you think of a mode?
Well, the information that I would like to, especially, I want people to be to have the political awareness. Political awareness, how politics is being done and how it affects their life. So they will be at least politically aware of the system of the politics.
All right, I totally agree. See, now we are talking. So why are we talking? We are talking because we want to relate to each other, right?
Yes.
Because I'm trying to convey my ideas to you, and also at the same time, I am trying to evoke certain kind of response from you.
Yes, ma'am.
As we all understand, communication is a two-way process.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct? It is a process because, we are using certain coded language or coded, to put it in a layman's language, it is coded information. So I am trying to code certain information, correct? Which means I am encoding the information and you are trying to decipher that information, which means you are decoding the information. Clear?
Mm.
So now the magic lies in the fact that we should be able to encode and decode with same intensity. Right? If I am trying to convey a certain idea, you should be able to decipher or interpret that same idea. Because there is bound to be a lapse of understanding, which leads to a lot of misunderstandings. So the art of conveying your ideas in an apt manner is what we are looking forward to when we say you are trying to, master the art of writing.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what happens is when I'm saying I'm trying to code a particular language or I'm trying to encode a particular idea, as I asked you, see, you said you want to make your people politically aware. You
Yes.
also want to convey the global information to the people belonging to your community. So the very first question that comes to our minds is, how are you going to do that? Are you going to write it in a piece of paper and circulate them?
No,
Just
ma'am.
think about it. Just think about it. How are you going to do it?
Well, I will try to get okay. So I will, yes, I can do that. I can write. You see, now there is changes. This change of social media. So I can
Right.
use social
So
media
one is probably you can use the social media, the various forms and the various modes, right from WhatsApp to Instagram to Facebook to writing emails to coming up with a lot of podcasts, etc., etc., etc.
Yes,
You can also be writing for media.
yes,
What I'm talking about is what is going to be the format or the structure which you plan to use.
the structure.
So when I say structure, it means, is it going to be poetry? Is it going to be prose? Is it going to be in the form of drama? Is it going to be in the form of a novel or a short story or a fiction? You understand what I'm trying to make you understand?
Yes, ma.
So what I'm trying to say is that what kind of structure are you planning to adapt? See, because when you are undergoing this course, when you're undergoing this entire program of diploma in creative writing, there is a course which is entitled DCE 6, which says writing proposals.
Okay.
So at the end of when you complete this program, you are supposed to prepare, a project proposal.
Okay.
And when that project proposal gets approved, so when we talk about that project proposal, you have to write a particular, what do you call, a methodology. You have to come up with the objectives of your proposal, then you have followed by methodology, and then a brief description of your proposal, which contains what kind of short stories are you planning, what kind of poem that you plan to write, or whether it is going to be a small novella, etc., etc., etc. So that is why I'm telling you, we need to, at the very onset, we need to understand why do we all write? What are the various modes that we can use to convey our ideas? So primarily what I personally feel is we write for two simple reasons. The very first is we want to give some kind of written, a record for our imagination. We all have imaginations and we want to give wings to our imaginations, or we want to, I would say, put our imaginations into reality.
Okay.
Probably. Correct? And
Yes.
when you say you want to give the global perspective or update your community with the global happenings, then again your imagination is involved. right?
Okay. Yes.
Now, when I say imagination is involved, when there are stages when your imagination is involved, which means, see, there again there is a difference. There is a fictional form of writing and there is a non-fictional form of writing.
Yes, ma'am.
Writing is again of two kinds. So when I say you are simply conveying the information, or to put it in a more simple manner, when you're trying to convey the facts, what are you planning to do? When you are conveying the facts, when you're conveying the information, it is very, very objective. Do you understand what does it mean when I say you have to be very, very objective?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I will try to present my information based on facts.
Yeah,
Not
you're going to, you are simply conveying the facts, you are simply conveying the information, which means that you are not mixing that information with imagination
yes, ma'am.
or with your own emotions and feelings. You are objectively conveying that information. So, in the
Yes.
form of a report, in the form of a project, in the form of a newspaper writing, or in the form of newspaper or news clips, you are simply passing on the information, which means you are giving facts to the public. Now, so your emotion, your imagination is not playing any role. You understand? So when
Yes.
it comes to facts, when it comes to the uh, what do you call the information, it has to be very, very objective. But when we talk about the other modes of writing, say be it a poetry or a short fiction or a short story or a novella, it becomes subjective, which means your emotions and your feelings also play an important role, because you are conveying what you feel is ideal, what you feel is good. So, there is an involvement of your emotions and feelings while you convey certain ideas which are not simple facts, because then the facts are mingled with emotions, the facts are mingled with imagination.
Okay.
So you understand? So there
Yes.
is a clear cut difference between a piece of fiction which you are conveying, or which I would say a fictional writing, and the other one is a non-fictional writing. So, or you can put it in a very clear words, it is like creative writing and a non-creative writing. So we are trying to understand the difference between a creative writing and a non-creative writing. And when I say creative writing, so the purpose of creative writing is to inform.
Okay.
When you are basing when your information is based on facts or on principles,
Okay.
or on logic, you're conveying the information, which means it is creative. It is, you're simply creative, informing the public, you're informing the people. But when you try, so I would say that the distinction between creative and non-creative writing is something like the distinction between the passing of information or revealing something.
Okay.
So the very first thing when you intend to write, or when you begin on your journey of writing, is to understand what are you planning to convey. So that is what I asked you. Why do you want to be a creative writer? What do you want to write? And second important thing is you need to understand who is your target audience.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you have to, come down when you're writing, when you're passing the information, when you're passing the facts, be it an objective piece of writing or a subjective piece of writing. Another important thing is that it should be in such a manner that the people or your target audience, when I say target audience, I believe I'm clear
Yes, ma. The people I'm writing for.
So for whom you're writing. So your target audience needs to be in a position to easily understand your
Message.
fact.
Yes.
So it varies. For example, you're trying to, pass on a certain information to a set of people who belong to the urban metro background. And the same information, when you're trying to, pass on that information to the people belonging to the rural, interior, non-exposed background. Now, there is going to be a difference in the way, in the use of diction, in the use of language, in the use of style, when you are conveying this information to two different category of people, two different, I would say, sets of people belonging to two different socio-political and economic backgrounds. So, why I'm talking about all this is because to make it easy, to facilitate it to be easily interpreted, you also need to pass on your information in such a manner that the target audience finds it easy to understand, finds it convenient to interpret.
Okay.
So the very first thing that we need to understand is that, like there has to be a difference, there has to be a distinction between a creative piece of writing and a non-creative piece of writing, which means by a certain, when you are using for the former, you are kind of informing, but
Okay.
when you are in the other form of writing, you are revealing.
Okay.
So is that clear? I
Yes,
suppose
ma'am.
I'm clear. Now, yeah, Mr. Musa, how are you?
But
I'm,
ma'am,
I'm, I'm good, ma'am.
Yeah,
I'm
fine.
doing, yeah, I'm fine.
All right. So let me get to know you a little. Can you just tell me uh, a few lines about yourself? Just be comfortable, be at ease.
Yeah,
Let's try and understand each other. Yeah.
yeah. My name is Adam Musatenko, and I live in Nigeria, Bauchi State. So I take interest to be a creative writer because of so many reasons that this with my life, and mostly to write with concerning my culture, my state, and uh, my people who we live together. And in particular, I would like to write based on the structure of my country, the happenings and the
Sorry, you
affairs.
want to? You want to? I didn't get it. The second point.
Yeah, my second point is to write based on the structure of my country and
All
to
right.
inform and reveal. And I would like to write based on the two aspects of writing, that is fiction and non-fiction, that is to reveal and inform. And I also pick interest to write on newspaper, that is to become a columnist. Yeah,
All right.
want to also to bring the best out of people, that is to make difference in the life of people we mingle with, more especially the teeming youth.
That's great. That's great. So, when you say you want to, what I've understood is you want to inform the people, but you also want them, you also want to, probably leave certain kind of record for the posterity, for the future generations.
Yeah,
You want to record your culture, you want to record the conventions all about your country, your people, your community, which means, you know there is a certain will, certain choice that you want to leave some kind of written record for the future people, for the posterity, is it?
yeah,
So then what I understand is, now see, we've come up with two different purposes of writing. One is for informing, correct? We want to inform our people, which means We want to update our people. We want our people to understand what is happening globally,
Of course.
and also about the country, the community, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, we also want the future generations to understand and know what our community is like, what is our culture, what is our country, how are we, the various social, political, economic happenings in our country.
Yeah.
So, see, now we have again come up with two different objectives of writing. One is again to reveal, and the first one is to inform.
Yeah.
Which means writing will be based on two different identities or two different principles. One would be conveying the facts or conveying the information. The second, which is again very, very objective. And the second part would be to, create certain ideals, create certain imagination, create certain emotions, and that becomes subjective.
Yeah.
So the writing will be either objective or subjective. It would be either creative or non-creative. It would either reveal certain information or it would either, what I should say, inform, pass the information. Correct? Now, what happens is, now this is the objective of writing, or this is the purpose of writing, or these are the intentions when we attempt to be a writer. Now, two things important, as I said, I was earlier talking, is when we keep in mind the target audience, because why do we keep in mind the target audience? Because this is how we're going to understand the expectations of the audience whom we are targeting. Why do we want to write and for whom we are planning to write? So we are planning to write for students. Are we planning to write for the community? Are we planning to write for the rural people? Because all the target audience, or understanding the background of the target audience, will help us understand the audience better. One will also help us in planning the structure of our content. So how do we plan the structure? If you're passing the information, it is like writing a plain article in a newspaper, or writing for any kind of a radio talk or a television talk. But if you're planning to convey certain emotions, you have to shift to different modes. You have to probably attempt to write a story or a poetry. Clear?
Yeah.
All right. Now, the most important thing that we need to write, we need to pay attention to is while writing is we need to achieve three things. First, maximum possible clarity. So the very first thing is we need to achieve the maximum clarity. We also need to be, as far as possible, precise, which means very, very clear, very, very lucid, very, very. And the third important thing is we need to be direct. So now when we attempt to write, there are three important things that we need to pay attention to is maximum clarity, directness, and precision, which means a sense of economy, because nobody is interested in probably something that can be conveyed in 2-3 sentences. Nobody is interested in reading that in a full length explanation for that. So we need to be direct, we need to be clear, and we need to be precise. So, and also after writing, now the best thing, after writing, what you need to do is you also have to understand that probably, you have to read the entire passage that you've written, or or a story or a poetry or whatever. When you read that entire passage, you also need to understand whether you're fulfilling the function of what you're planning to write, and also try and analyze your writing. Now, how do you analyze your writing? I would say you have to learn to be your own critic. You have to probably read and understand what are your objectives and whether those objectives are being fulfilled by your writing or not. So whether you are able to convey your ideas or not is, very, very important. Now, there is a very famous saying by T.S. Eliot. Have you heard of T.S. Eliot? So what have you read? All right, let me get to know my students a little more. Have you read any of the any English uh, writer? I would say, be it a poet, a novelist, or a story writer, or a dramatist.
Can you please repeat the question again?
Yeah, I just want to know whom have you read?
Like writer or poet?
Writer, poet, anybody. Who is your favorite writer?
Actually, based on the novelist, my favorite writer is a Nigerian
Sorry?
novelist, Chino Achebe.
And he writes in which language?
English.
English. So, and what does he write?
Actually, he writes non-fiction. Most of his novels. It's
And
based on.
he's based in?
You say?
Where is he from? He belongs to which country?
Yeah, he belongs to Nigeria.
He belongs to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now, so, all right. I agree that, he's your favorite writer. Now, why is he your favorite writer?
Yeah.
What is it that makes you, that makes him your favorite writer, or what is it that fascinates you about his writing?
So, the simplicity of his writing and the information that deals with my country. Most at times, he informs what are the hidden affairs that sometimes one could not get the perspective. So we get the
All
perspective
right.
per
So
se.
if I ask you to pen down certain information, the very first thing you said is the simplicity.
Yeah,
So you find him simple, which means it is easy for you to understand what he's trying to convey.
yeah, of course.
Right? So he is
Yes,
not using those complex, complicated, long sentences, or probably those jargons or those hidden uh, structures of sentences. He's trying to convey the information in a very simple manner or in a very, very simple sentence, right?
yes,
This is one.
yeah,
So he passes on a simple information, correct?
yeah,
And second thing is you are, you are fond of him because he gives you the content. The content kind of calls for your interest, right? You're interested in the content that he's passing on,
yeah,
or the subject matter or the theme of his writing interests you.
yes,
These are the two reasons.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, Mr. Mohammed, can we think of any other reason, or probably get to know who is your favorite writer?
Yes, I am the same with him. My favorite writer is Chinua Achebe. As he said, the man is very simple in his words. You
All
convey
right.
the,
So let us get into a simple exercise. Can I have you people write down probably a paragraph or some 100 words saying who is your favorite writer and why is he your favorite? It can be a writer, it can be a poet, it can be a dramatist, it can be a novelist, whatsoever. But let us try and find out, why is he or she your favorite? Why are you fond of him? Just give me a minute, huh? Just give me a minute. हाँ
okay.
जी, बताइए.
Mr. Muhammad.
Yes, Adam.
Yeah, I would like to have your contacts so that at least we need to have a good relationship.
Okay, okay. After the session, I will text you. I will call you. Or can you give
Okay.
me your number?
Yeah, I can give you now right away.
Okay. Go ahead.
Zero
Go ahead.
seven 070
070
66
66
369296.
99
66369296.
36 66
36
36 99
9 no 9296.
All right. So one thing that we are going to do is you've conveyed your numbers.
Yeah.
Yes, I will
Okay,
sending
fine.
now.
So one thing that we need to understand is why are we writing, or why are we kind of attempting to do this course on creative writing, this entire program on creative writing, because then you will understand, because I'm just trying to make you understand what are you writing, why are you writing, for whom are you writing, and because all this is going to help you decipher the idea as to, like your friend said, like Adam, if I call you Musa, is that fine?
You say?
If I call you Musa,
Yeah, it's fine,
that's
man.
fine. Okay, because so that's the shortest I can find out in your name. Huh? So what I'm trying to say is we need to understand why do we write? Who all are we intending to write for? Which means we have then only you're going to understand. See, I've been telling you two things important. One is creative writing, one is non-creative writing. What are the objectives of two? One is to convey information, the other will convey your emotions, which means one is objective, the other is
Yeah. You say?
subjective.
Yeah,
The other
subjective
is
and objective.
subjective, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to mingle your emotions and feelings with the information. Now let us try and understand. For example, you see a group of children playing football, correct? Now
Yes.
this is a very simple fact. The children are playing football in the school playground. Clear?
Yeah.
The children are playing football in the school playground. Now, this is a simple piece of information.
Of course.
So, if you're writing for media, or if you're writing for newspaper, or you're writing to only convey the facts, you're going to say the children are playing football,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But now, if you want to make this information subjective, then you will probably come up with a lot of adverbs and adjectives. The young children are enthusiastically playing football in the school field. You're trying to understand? It is the same information. The children are playing football. But then the first sentence conveys information. It conveys a particular fact. But when I say the children are whatever, what did I say? I forgot the sentence. Can somebody repeat the sentence for me, please?
I should repeat the first sentence.
Yeah.
The children are playing football.
The children are playing football.
Yeah. And the second sentence, you said that the children uh, were playing football enthusiastically.
Yeah. So I said the young children are playing football, are enthusiastically playing football in the school green field.
Yeah.
Which means I am mingling the information, or I'm mingling the facts with my emotions. I could have said the children are playing very badly.
Yes.
Isn't it? I could have said in a very dry field, on a barren field, or on a hot sunny day. So when you come up with, when you try and mingle this information, when you try and mingle these facts with your own emotions and feelings, the information or the fact takes the form of a creative writing. Because when you're transferring the information, where you're conveying the facts, it was not creative. You're simply giving information, you're simply conveying facts. But when these facts are mingled with your emotions, with your feelings, they become subjective. They make you, they become a narrative. You're trying to create a narrative. You're trying to, I would say, give some kind of uh, realism or realistic form to your imagination. I hope things are getting clear. I hope you're being able to understand. Yeah, you're getting the idea of what creative writing is all about?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh?
Yes,
So that is why we get the question is, why do we write? Are you writing to, but so you are basically writing to communicate a thought or a feeling, which is writing to express oneself, you're writing to express yourself. So you write because you feel the need to free yourself of some emotions or feelings that are pounding on your head, that are piling in your mind. You want to free yourself. Now, how do you do that? Because whatever you are conveying has to be conveyed in a very clear manner. It has to be very, very precise. It has to be very, very direct. And also it has to be very, very simple. Because both of you said ki you like a particular writer because he is simple. And also the subject matter of his writing is something that interests you. Right? So when I say what kind of project are you going to plan, are you planning to take up? What do you plan to write? All right, Mr. Garba, how many counseling sessions you people have attended?
Pardon?
How many sessions have you attended?
Two, ma'am.
All right. What did you learn?
Okay, I learned a lot.
You learned a lot. Agreed. But what was the session on?
The
What
first
were
session,
the people, the coordinators talking about?
I can hear you well, ma'am.
Sorry,
I can't hear you well.
you can't hear me.
No, I can see you, but I can't hear you.
You can't get my voice.
I don't know what is wrong. I can't hear you well.
Please check your microphones because
There seems to
probably
be a problem here. I can't hear you well.
you can't hear me well. Should I increase the... How about now?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear my voice?
Yes, not audibly.
Huh?
Not so audible.
Please check the levels of your speakers.
Okay.
Are they properly pitched? All right. Am I audible now? Probably I'll switch off the camera because there's some internet issue. Am I audible now? Musa, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, but not loud.
Not loud.
You are audible, but not so loud.
All right, so I'm not switching on my camera for the time being, probably because of the internet connectivity, and I should be better audible now. So when we say, as I've been talking to you, we need to understand why do we write, who all are the audience. So write, we intend to write, or we write because we want to express ourselves, right? This means that, there is some kind of psychological or aesthetic compulsion. We want to come up with writing. And it also becomes a social need when you write, because you're writing about and also writing for other people. Probably you're writing a novel or a short story because you're trying to establish a bond with your target audience. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible.
So what is bothering you?
Yes, I can.
Are you comfortably able to understand and relate to what I'm talking?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you, not so audible.
Hi, Musa. What about you?
Hello?
Yes.
Come here, please.
Sorry?
Pardon?
Nobody.
So as we were talking about writing, now as I've told you that it can be divided or it can be classified into two categories. One is creative and the other is non-creative. Now, when I say it is creative writing, which means the purpose is to inform. Because we're trying to add. Hi, Musa, can you please mute yourself? Hi, Musa. Musa, can you please mute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Please mute yourself. Your microphone is open. It's unmuted. Yeah, thank you. So what happens is, as I've been telling you, it deals with ideas. The purpose is to inform, and it also adds to your information. It widens your knowledge. So probably books, like books on history, on religion, on science, they belong to this category. Now, in order to achieve the best, this purpose of informing, the writer, what exactly is needed of a writer? What exactly is needed from you? One, you will have to be analytical in your approach. Clear? You need to be analytical in your approach, and you have to present your arguments in a very methodical and lucid manner. Because what happens is, then only your the intended or the target audience will be able to interpret the information. So you have to be logical and analytical in your approach. And also, you have to present your arguments in a very lucid and methodical manner, so that it is easy to comprehend, it is easy to understand. Which means, again, I'm saying that you have to be simple, you have to be direct, you have to be precise, you have to be very, very clear in what you are planning to convey. Another thing is that when we talk about creative writing, it is like a very spiritual activity, because you are concentrating on yourself. You are analyzing your own emotions and feelings. The purpose is not only to inform, but you're trying to reveal also. You are revealing your emotions. You are being subjective. It is not entirely objective. You are also planning to mingle the facts. You are also mingling the information with your emotions and feelings. So that is the second reason, which means when I talk about creative writing, the purpose is not only to inform, but also to reveal. So a highly creative writer, he meditates on either concrete things of the world or on abstract thoughts. Now, what are those abstract thoughts on which the writer meditates? Probably you kind of meditate on thoughts like love, divinity, and probably then you pour out your information in your writing. You are and what are you going through, or what are you doing? You are bringing your unique imagination into play. So probably by interacting with life around you, you are also which means you're writing on social issues around you, on social circumstances around you, on situations around you, on the beautiful. So how do you choose your subject matter? What is the theme of your writing? How are you going to pick up those themes, the content? Because that again plays an important role. See, the two things that you talked about, your favorite writers, what were the two things that you spoke about? One, they were simple. Second, you enjoyed the content. Isn't it? So you chose to read those writers because they were simple, which means you have to be direct. You have to observe the economy of words, the preciseness, which means if you're precise, you're direct, you observe that economy of expression. And at the same time, you have to be simple, clear, logically analytical, all these things. But you have to be very, very careful while choosing the theme, while choosing the content of what you are planning to write. So the choice of content also becomes important. Now you can interplay with lot of things, with lot of life around you, with lot of social and political and economic situations and things around you, with a lot of nature around you. So the choice depends on you. So how do you pick up your theme also becomes very, very important, because you are bringing your imagination into play. And how are you going to bring your imagination into play? Because you are interacting with things around you. You are going to write about the social situations and events because you are trying to enlighten. You're also trying to uplift and transport in such a manner, as if the structure is your own, the mode is your own, because you're planning a short story, you're planning a novel, you're planning a poetry. So you can sense your own individual vision in your writing, which again, put in simple, very very simple words, is you are giving wings to your imagination. And these, again, we come to what I started my session with, was why do you write? The first reason is you want to give wings to your imagination. The second reason is you want to leave a certain record for the future generation, for the posterity. Third thing is you want to pass on the information, but also probably uplift or enlighten the target audience. For this, you need to be methodically and lucidly doing it with a lot of lucidity. And why all these things? Because you want them to comprehend, you want them to easily understand. So, on the basis of the subject matter, all these writings can again be divided into creative writings and non-creative writings. So it is not unusual, because and there are times when, because there is a very fine dividing line that divides creative writing from non-creative writing. So it is not unusual that a highly creative writer may produce a non-creative work in a very creative manner. And such a work uplifts even, simultaneously, while passing on the information. So it informs and it also invokes your interest. It also stimulates your emotions and feelings. So the writing has to compulsorily retain the interest of the audience. And how do you do that? Is an art. The mastery of creative writing lies in the fact that how do you retain the interest of the audience, or the target audience. Now, as I proceed, we also need to understand that every literary composition, every literary work, whether it is big, small, creative, non-creative, it essentially has four important factors, four important features, I would say. The first is it has a content. So probably, what is the idea that you want to convey, what you want to write, what do you want to tell? Yeah, Mr. Garba, you want to say something? Muhammad Garba? I'm trying to say is there are 2-3 things that we need to pay attention to. The essence of content. Now, what is the content? Which means what have you experienced? If you look at a beautiful natural landscape, you feel happy about it. So your content is going to be happy. If you see a severe massacre or a road accident, your content is going to be sad. So you're going to write a sad. So, the entire content depends on your experience. So what are you experiencing? It becomes important. So I would say that the content plays an important role. And how do you generate this content? It is only through experience, right? So the content is generated through experience. Now, what is your experience? Which means your response to a particular situation. And how do you get this experience? Uh, Probably your senses perceive what is happening around you. You observe things. They generate certain kind of stimulus in your mind. So what I'm trying to say is you cannot write in a vacuum. You need certain stimulus around you to write. You see the life around you in various situations. You see something harsh, you see something poignant, you see beautiful things, happy things, sad things, and all these situations evoke certain kind of emotions and feelings, or probably you experience certain emotions and feelings, and these experiences are the essence of your content. So the most important thing is content. Even when one invents a story, the elements, somewhere or the other, they are very close to the real facts of life, the real incidents that you've come across. For example, if I tell you, all right, if I ask you, if you're planning to write a story, for example, or a poetry or a poem, what would be the subject matter of your poetry? What do you think is going to be the topic of the content of your poetry? Would anyone volunteer to answer this question? Please unmute your mic. Please unmute your mic. I can't get your voice. Please unmute yourself, Mr. Mohammed Garba.
Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Can
Yeah.
you hear me? Hello?
Hello.
I can hear you.
Yeah, please be a little louder. Yeah, Mr. Garba.
Yes. Come again, please. What's the question? What's the question, ma?
All right, Mr. Musa, can you answer my question, or can you at least repeat the question?
Yeah, you said how can a person that is going to write a poem, what should be the title of the poem? As in, what is the
What should be
content of
content of the whatever,
what?
be it a story, novel, whatever it is? But what do you plan to pick up as the content of your piece of writing? What is going to be the content of your writing? So I suggest anything that you plan to write on would definitely be something that is chosen from your surrounding, isn't it? From your own personal experiences. What do you say? Do you agree to this or not? So So the entire content is based on your experience, something that you acquire from your life, from the life around you with the help of your senses. So which means something that you see, you hear about, you react to certain facts are going to give you the content or the subject matter of your writing, followed by form. Now, when I say form, there are two meanings. First is there's going to be a literal form, and the second is going to be a structural form. Now, literal form and structural form. When you pick up the subject matter, when you pick up the content for your writing, the form is automatically, unknowingly, voluntarily, or involuntarily decided. Because, as I said, the content itself decides what form it is going to take. Whether a particular information should come out as a story or a novel, or what nature or what quality of your subject matter, of your content, whether it should be conveyed as a poem, because you are, as a writer, have to decide. For example, a poem expresses it in a very in an exclusive manner. So I'm going to talk about your content in the form of a poetry, or you're going to pick up the form of a short story or a novel or a drama to convey your content. So second thing is you need to decide about the form. The third important thing is the structure. Now, the guiding principle should be that easy comprehension and easy communication. So make it your motto. Easy communication for easy comprehension. Mr. Garba, you probably raised your hand.
Yes, ma. I didn't get the difference between content and...
Could you be a little louder? Could you be a little loud?
The difference between content and the form. What are the difference?
Can you please repeat
Can you
your
hear
question?
me now?
Yeah, now it is better. Huh?
Okay. So I didn't get the difference. How do we differentiate between content and the form?
All right, content and the form. So content is the subject matter. Content is the idea that you want to convey. For example, you want to convey an information. As I chose the very first sentence, the children are playing in the field. Now, this is a piece of information. All right. So this is the content of your writing. This is the subject of your writing. The children playing in the school field. Now you have to decide, how are you going to convey this information? Are you going to mingle this information with emotions and feelings? If yes, then you are going in for a creative writing. You have to create a story. You have to create a poetry to convey this idea that the children are playing in the field. What kind of children are they? What are they playing? Why are they playing? Are they fighting? How are they playing? Etc., etc., etc. So the content is what you observe, what you see, and your reaction, your emotions to that particular situation. You see a beautiful garden across your house. Probably you see a nice, bright, sunny morning. It makes you feel happy. So are you going to talk about the content? Now, when this content automatically decides whether it's going to be a creative form or a non-creative form, one. Second, whether you're going to convey this content in the form of a poetry, in the form of a news information, in the form of a short story, drama, novel, fiction, etc. So the content is the subject, which means something that you have observed and experienced and reacted to. Something that you have observed, you have experienced, and you have reacted to is the content. And something, now this content, how are you going to convey this? For example, if I already, what do you think you want to write on today? Supposedly, if I ask you to write a paragraph, what is going to be the content of your paragraph?
To write about the question again, please, ma'am.
What do you want to write about? If I say, students, please write a paragraph of, say, 100 words on a subject matter, on a content of your choice. So what is the subject matter or content?
You know, Nigeria now, we're about to go to the poll. So I will write about the coming election, the forthcoming election in Nigeria.
All right. So which means the content of your writing is going to be the elections, the coming polls in Nigeria, right?
Yes, yes.
Now, when you are going to write about this subject, this is the content of your writing. Now, what are you going to write about it?
I would like to enlighten the electorate how to make a good choice when they go to the poll.
All right, which means you are planning to pass certain facts to the electorate or your intended writer, the target audience. Yes. Which means it is going to be a very, very non-creative piece of writing because you plan to simply pass the information.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now you understand. So it's going to be a newspaper article or probably an article in any of the modes of social media. Now, we have to pay attention to the fact that if you're talking about, say, the procedure of the polls or the various contestants, how do you stay unbiased? How do you separate or distance your own emotions and feelings? As long as you're going to give a very objective, very analytical, very simple and direct analysis, which will be a very, very non-creative piece of writing. Now, when you want to explain the process of the polls in Nigeria to probably somebody who is a new electorate, who's participating for the first time in the process of polls, who doesn't understand what all this electoral system is all about, how do you go about it, what are the various parties, the contestants, what are their rights, their duties, etc., etc. Think of some creative mode. When you're talking about certain contestants, how do you think are you going to make it more creative? How can you do that?
For creative. Okay. Let's say I want in form of creative, you mean I will write based on my imagination. Is that?
So which means your reaction to a particular contestant, your likes, your dislikes, your emotions, your response are going to play an important role when you plan to write.
Okay.
Correct?
Yes.
And then you are the one who is going to decide how are you going to communicate. Whether you just want to give them the information, these are the parties who are contesting, this is the election, it is going to be held on so and so date. This is, simple factual transmission. You're going to convey or transmit the facts, but this is not the sole purpose of your communication. So you can also choose when your emotions start participating, when your feelings start participating, you have to choose a certain mode. You have to just give me a second. I'll have a glass of water and come back.
Okay, da Allah ku zaura mana karatu muke yi fa can, kun ga ba a san hayaniya tana shiga ciki. Wai ba magana ne bane ne? To ba za ki kwaɓe shi ba?
All right. So that is what I'm trying to say is, so it is up to you that you decide whether you know what literal form are you, literary form are you going to adapt? Are you going to talk to them in the form of a newspaper clipping? Or you plan to write a short story making them understand the process of polls? What I'm trying to tell you is that you have to de-learn what you have already learned. You have to unlearn. Because when I say, you find it very strange that how do you pass a certain information in the form of a story or probably a poem or a novel. So the guiding principle is that it has to be easy communication and easy comprehension.
Yes.
As I told you, it has to be simple, direct, precise, clear, understandable. So just make it a motto. Make it your motto: easy comprehension and easy communication. Now, in order to achieve a good structure, what all can we do? The very first thing is arrange all the information, all the material. The very first thing is you have to have a collection of information, collection of material, right?
Okay.
So the content, the material, the information. Now, first thing is you have to decide how much of what should be, used. So how much of what should be used? The second thing is in what order you're going to use that information. So what I'm trying to say is gather all your information and then start working on it. So for this, it is generally advised that maintain a diary. Maintain a diary for yourself. Whatever piece of information you come across, note it down. Whatever information stimulates your emotions and feelings. So you also have to note down your emotions and feelings. So pick up the information, note down your emotions and feelings, and then probably when the entire homework is done, when you have a set of information, start working on it. You have to start deciding as to, there are two things that we need to decide: how much of what information you want to convey, you want to pick up, and second thing is in what order you're going to pick up those information. So for this you have to be somebody who continuously reads, because the wider your reading, if you're widespread, if you have a lot of understanding, lot of exposure to different kind of readings, so if you are widely read, if you're thoroughly read, then then you probably understand that what is the right mechanism, what is the right way of conveying a particular information, because then it is a skill in which you evolve, which helps you understand what information, how much information to convey, so and in what order. So now we have to kind of concentrate on three things: what information, which is the content, correct? And then we talk about the form or the structure, which means how much and in what manner, yeah, what order.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Good. So now how are you going, because so for this you need to, there are two things that I've asked you to do: maintain a diary for yourself and try and read lot of books, try and read lot of poetry, something that makes you feel interested in. You should be widely and thoroughly read. You should be knowing what to do, how much to do, because it is your inner instinct, your common sense, your logic, your experience, which is going to help you choose the content and then decide what content, how much, and in what order. All right. So a piece of writing, I would say it is like a work of architecture, where you decide what kind of stones you're going to put for the foyer of your house, or what kind of stones are you going to use for constructing the basic structure of your house. What kind of stones are you going to use when you're planning to beautify the front of your house. So what becomes important is, where every stone, where every single sentence, it has to be well cut, well written, and it should fit into each other.
Okay.
You understand? So
Yes.
the total structure should also be satisfying, and it should be aesthetically, or I should say beautifully satisfying, because apart from generating some kind of stimuli in the target audience, it should also give them a sense of satisfaction. It should also convey the content in totality. So now it is again your experience that you need to understand what would your target audience probably want to get from you. What are they looking for? What kind of information are they expecting you to pass on? What do they want to learn? What do they want you to convey them?
Yeah.
What is their what are their curiosities? What do they want to know? And how do you satisfy their demands? So what important thing is, one should choose how is this book going to satisfy your audience. So it is like a, it is like a orchestra which is playing in harmony with each other. There has to be a total harmony in choosing the subject matter, in choosing the form, in choosing the structure, how much, what, how much, and in what manner is important. It is like designing a garden. How much manure you're supposed to put, how many seeds, how much, what seeds, how much water, how much shelter, how much sunlight, and then probably how you're going to plant. There has to be a bed for roses, there has to be a bed for some other flower, whatever. So now what I understand is pay attention to the content, to the form, to the structure, and then comes the style. So the total structure has to be satisfying. The paragraph, the chapters, the sentences, and even the entire, probably the story, everything has to be, it is like the correct musical note that you're going to touch. So each sentence, uh, like a symphony, like a harmony in the entire orchestra, has to be satisfying. Now, when we talk about style, another important factor is style. So, possible that, two different writers, when they choose to write on the same subject matter or with the same theme, uh, they can be satisfying in terms of structure, or I can say structurally satisfying, yet they have different styles. The styles might vary, or you may choose, or you may like, or you may uh, you know want to read one writer as compared to the other, because they are stylistically different. So how do you decide that one style is better than the other? And what is a style? Can anybody try and can anybody like,
Style.
yeah, what do you understand when I say style?
Style is the how you use the words you use in your writing.
Correct. So I would say that, it is your awareness or your exposure to words and sentences. You have your own way of conveying things. Probably it is something like you meet somebody early in the morning and you say, uh, hello, hi, how are you? Or you say, good morning. Or you probably say greetings of the day. So now this is your own style, which is very, very personal to you, which is very, very individualistic to you. You understand? So I would say it is something which comes out after long, or after days and years, months of practice. You develop your own style. Probably somebody who wears a black trouser with a white shirt has a different style from somebody who wears a white long coat or a long gown. So that is, yeah, Mr. Muhammad?
Yes, I'm afraid my computer is about to shut down.
Your
I've
computer is
not,
about to shut
I've
down.
tested the
All right. So before it shuts down, let me give you a small exercise. When we meet for the next session, please be prepared as to what are the just come up with an idea as to what is the theme that you're planning to write on, what is going to be the form and the structure of your proposal. All right? Shut down. Yeah, Mr. Muhammad? Yeah, Mr. Kasturi, Miss Kasturi. DCRC 30. DCRC